Alrighty, so let's get started. And what we're going to do, Carol, is we're going to go through a process known as the Godiva pattern. This is a particular pattern that's really helpful to resolve things like procrastination so that you feel motivated to do something that you know is important to do, such as paperwork, tax, studying. This particular process is quite effective and fast to move that self-sabotage out of the way and feel motivated and effective to get things done. If I go through the slides, as I've already said here, when we're going through this particular process, we need to know that this is within ecology, that this is a good thing to want to get done. And so what we're going to do is we're going to work out what is something that you really, really enjoy doing, such as eating chocolate, and identify that thing that you're kind of feeling dread getting done, like study, paperwork, and to be able to very quickly use those submodalities to map across so that the eating chocolate yummy feelings transfers over onto the paperwork. So there's that pull, that interest to see that study complete. Does that make sense so far, Carol?
Yes, it does.
Yay! So I am going to go through the steps with you, but if we have a look here, when I think I've already said it, but getting it from you, Carol, what are you compelled to do that you absolutely really desire?
Desire? Love?
Yeah, desire, yeah.
As in eating Lindt chocolate?
That's it.
As in those those little balls of
the rich yumminess.
Deliciousness. Like
yeah,
melt in your mouth, explosion, yum.
Perfect. So like you're already associated, you're already there. But when we think about the task that, you want to be motivated to get done, what stands out for you?
Well, it's any form of paperwork. Any form of paperwork, really.
Yeah, like sit down, focus, tax, paperwork, study, and anything in between. Being told what to do with writing.
Paying bills, yeah. All paperwork.
And so if you think about, having to get these done, they are actually part of your day-to-day world that they need to get done, that it's helpful to get it done, right?
Yes, very, very helpful to get it done.
So within NLP, it's incredibly important to do an ecology check. So I'm going to ask Carol, is there any part of you at any level that objects to you enjoying, getting this paperwork done, and that you've decided that you need to get done?
With every fiber in my body, I want to enjoy doing paperwork. I want to enjoy it as much as I enjoy Lindt chocolate.
Yeah, well, that's the aim.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Task accepted, or challenge accepted. I'll give it a go. So great. I know that that's a bit too fancy, but you can simply ask, is this okay with every part of you, to enjoy paperwork? And yeah, just checking in with you, Carol.
Yes.
Awesome. Because the last thing we want to do is to give somebody that desired feeling to do something that would not be healthy, with integrity, so on and so forth. Yep. So what I'm going to ask Carol to do in a moment is to absolutely fully associate into that experience of eating that yummy, rich, moreish kind of chocolate, and just to get those feelings starting to come up within her. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Carol to switch, and I'm going to ask her to get an image where she can see herself. And that's really important, to see herself doing that particular task. So rather than eating the chocolate and we're fully experienced in it, I'm going to ask Carol to, almost sit on the chair on the side, watching her get that task done. And just checking, Carol, does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
She's already doing it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have that moreish, yummy chocolate kind of picture behind the have to get it done picture. What I'm going to ask her to do is we're going to tear open a hole of the got to get it done picture, and then pull that chocolate forward. So it's just like, it just brings up that kinesthetic of like, oh, yes. And we're just going to scramble those neural pathways for Carol to really feel that, oh, yes, to the paperwork. So then more of my little slides there. So just getting a different kind of visual perspective. We've got the yummy picture behind and the task that needs to be done. We're going to tear that open and pull that chocolate forward. So any questions there, Carol?
No, I'm ready.
And so at the end there, we'll also need to calibrate just to check, you know, thinking about getting that paperwork done on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like, yes, I want to get it done. We're going to calibrate at the end, something that I'll need to remember to do. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to be fully immersed in my experience with Carol. Any questions there, Carol?
No.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm really ready.
The question is, am I ready?
I just want to experience the Lindt chocolate because that's really
the highlight of your day.
Good.
Yeah. So Carol, what I want you to do is I do want you to get in touch with that moreish, yummy Lindt chocolate kind of. And I won't chew and talk while we do this, but I want to. But just getting a picture of the last time you ate that chocolate, to almost like see what you saw, hear what you heard, to feel those feelings of that moreish chocolate just hit your lips. And it's like, yes, I want more of this. And then what I want you to do, Carol, is I want you to get that picture of you getting that paperwork done. I want you to have that picture of you getting that paperwork done, seeing yourself getting that paperwork done. And I want you to have that picture in front of you and knowing that behind that picture is that chocolate. So I want you to notice there that as you see that picture of you getting that paperwork done, that we decide that we're going to tear a hole into that picture, just tearing a hole and starting to see that picture of that yummy moreish chocolate, just pulling that feelings through, that richness, that yumminess, and then close the picture back up, coming back to that picture of you doing your computer paperwork and noticing that picture of that computer paperwork, knowing that it needs to get done. And then what we do again is we just tear a little hole in that picture. There's that chocolate, there's that Lindt. And as we notice that picture there, we just pull that chocolate forward, that yumminess, that melt in the mouth, that richness, and your body's just saying, yes, I want more of this. And then I want you to close that picture back up. Again, there's that picture of you getting that paperwork done. And then one more time, what we're going to do is we're going to poke a hole in that picture of that paperwork getting done. We're going to tear that picture open, noticing that we can see that moreish, that chocolate, that Lindt, and it's just melt in your mouth, and we just pull it forward, wanting it more, just experiencing that all over your body, that yes, this is my time, this is my experience, yes. And then closing that picture. And again, what we're going to do is we're going to poke a hole through that picture of you doing that paperwork, getting that hole, just seeing that chocolate behind there, pulling that yummy chocolate into getting that paperwork done. It's just this amazing yumminess that it's getting done. You're experiencing, you're feeling it. And it's like, yes, it's getting done. And then we close that picture again. And then one more time, there's that picture of Carol getting her paperwork done. And we tear a hole in that particular picture and we tear that paper open. And it's that yummy burst of chocolate just coming all the way into you, Carol. Just melt down your mouth, just that moreish, yummy, blissful feeling, getting it done, experiencing that. And it's like, yes, I want more of this. And then closing that picture, taking a deep breath. And I invite you to come back into the room, Carol. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, that moreish yumminess of getting that done, opening your eyes to a whole new you. I couldn't think of the words. I was like, oh yes, I just want to taste it.
I love that. I just love that so much. It's every feeling when I brought that picture back of me doing the paperwork, um, took on just a little bit more essence of the chocolate feeling.
Yeah.
So by the time the last picture of that came around, I was actually sitting up really nicely as though doing that paperwork was the chocolate experience. That was
Yeah.
really cool.
My sensory acuity, I knew, like, yeah, we're there. She's glowing. We're
Yeah,
upright. We're wanting more of this.
yeah. I'm like, but every time you like bring that picture back up, I was like, oh. And then as soon as that opening, we're gonna open up that picture, it's like, oh yes.
Yeah, pulling that Moorish feeling through.
Yeah, that's really, really clever. That's really beautiful.
And when you
It's
think
amazing.
about the idea of, yeah, getting that paperwork done on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like, yep, I want to get it done. Where are we on that
Yeah, I want to.
scale?
Yeah, I want to get it done. I'm like up there. I'm like 10, 9.5 to 10. I'm like, the only difference
Yeah.
on that, like 9.5 to 10, would be actually physically doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so if, the fact that there's been change indicates that, like, we can build upon this. So at any time that Carol finds herself, instead of doing paperwork, but we're now doing numbers, we could redo this on a different level to get that motivation, that excitement up. To be
Yep.
transparent with people, when Carol was learning this in class and she took me through this process, it was the caramel and getting the paperwork done, and I lost the entire next day. I spent 12 hours getting that paperwork done, and it was like, I know the tricks to this, and yet I'm completely sucked in. I'm like, get it done, and get it done with joy and happiness rather than it being dread and draining my energy. So yeah, that's where I want to thank you for taking me through that process, Carol, because it's a phenomenal one, right?
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I just feel like I want to actually sit down and do my study this afternoon.
Yeah.
I actually feel like I want to. That's just cruel. I do not have Lindt chocolate here at the moment. I
So
love it.
I just want to say a big thank you to you, Carol, and a big thank you to everybody watching, and I will talk to you soon. So the Godiva pattern, it's used when we need to find motivation to get something done. We find something that we're already motivated to do, such as eating Lindt chocolate. We get the associated submodalities of what it's like to really enjoy this chocolate, and we map that across. We very quickly and easily move it across to feel motivated to do something like paperwork or completing tedious tasks, because when you know how Moorish it is to really enjoy this, we can use all of that amazing energy and shift it across something that's really quite boring. I've done this myself. I know when I've done the Godiva pattern, I've made sure that I've seen like that chocolate oozing from the screen, oozing from my paperwork. It's like, yes, I want more of this. And careful, because I lost 12 hours on the computer, like just getting stuff done. Was I on a sugar high? Who knows? But these Lindt chocolates, that's what it should be named after, right? The Lindt chocolate pattern. So, if you're interested in being motivated to do something that you find quite tedious, within 10 minutes, we can make a really big difference and get stuff done. Bye.